Let's see if the hair can get fluffed up a bit. And it looks a little bad. Let's see if the sound is working. If the hair can get fluffed up a bit. Looks like the sound is working. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm John Miglosh for the Wisconsin DMA and the International Society for Strategic Marketing. Well, let's see. 3 years ago, we had our first 10 at 10. So I wanted to hearken back to the days of yore. I watched the pilot for the Beverly Hillbillies last night. Don't ask me how I stumbled across that, but it was really fun. They don't make shows like that anymore. That's an understatement. Man, oh man, oh man, oh man. So anyway, I thought I'd queue up my very first video on YouTube just to see what it looked like. And so here we go. Let's see if we can get this over here.
Hi, I'm John Miglosh, and today we're going to talk a little bit about data. The new concept, brand new, because Google and Facebook have allowed you to see into the way they store and search things, is called big data.
Don't I look young?
And big data,
if I shaved, I'd look the same.
What everybody wants.
Big data.
And what everybody wants to analyze. And studies are showing now that
studies show.
85% of companies,
yeah, that's a real line.
Piling up more
studies
data,
show.
Their ability to
I could pick this guy apart. I can tell you. What a kid. He doesn't know anything about this.
Has not improved in spite of the dramatic.
Is anybody out there? Hey, Keith.
Now, why is that? Well, back in the day when I grew up with data,
we didn't
have big data. In fact, when I started,
we didn't have any data.
We would have to convince people to save customer data other than the address.
I convinced the New York Hilton that they needed to let me use a computer in a presentation. We didn't have computers in marketing.
Convincing people to pile it up and someday we'll figure out
we
how to
took
use it.
orders. That's all we did.
The data that we used was what I'll call purchase data. It was the stuff that people bought. So in a Cabela's there was 60,000 SKUs, and we would know if you were a hunter or you were a fisherman, or you bought camping or footwear or muzzle loaders, whatever you did. And so that helped us predict through the seasons what offers might be most relevant to you. And that actually did work, and if you
actually worked.
You'll see it made them a lot of money.
Anyway, I'm not going to bore you with the whole thing. But I just thought I'd go back and show you some of my early work. It's still relevant as far as I can tell. I wish people would listen to it. Which brings us to back to our articles. Let's go over to the PDFs. Okay, which brings us back to the articles about direct mail. And as you know, I'm the premier daily mail news show in the world. I'm sure there's nothing else. And so Sonnet James, as told by the printer who printed it, launched their first direct mail catalog. Why? Doesn't say exactly. Let's zoom out a little bit. Oops, let's see. Control minus. Where are we here? Why can't we zoom out? There we go. Okay, who knows? So, Sonnet James got funding on Shark Tank and just did its first short-run catalog. And it doesn't exactly say why. It just talks about the printer and how great Artisan Color, a 20-year-old printer, which isn't that old as far as printers go, did their little catalog. It's a 6x9 quarter-sized mailer that allowed for personalization. This was interesting. They printed it on uncoated stock for a more natural, modern look and feel. I think it looks more like an FSI. Sometimes it'll do better. I've said that on many shows. I've tested paper. What they didn't talk about is one single test, which is usual, because what does a printer know? No offense, come tomorrow, come today. No, today, 3 p.m. Central Daylight Time. We're having a meetup. We got a bunch of big print celebrities coming. Yeah, I remember those days. It was only a few weeks ago. No, it was 9 years ago. That first video was from 9 years ago. So I've been doing them for a while. I have 833 videos up on YouTube. So if you can't sleep at night, that's okay. They're riveting. That won't help you. You want to get them when you're. But anyway, a mom with 2 kids Lundeen's created Sonnet James to serve women like her who wanted to wear fun, fashionable clothing while running errands or playing with their kids. Okay? Most of the moms I know just wear something that's kind of worn out and won't get too messed up by the kids because kids are messy. That's one of the rules of kids. Okay, here is a Yahoo Finance article, which again tells you that the world is starting to recognize direct mail, and we know that mainly the reason is because of this show. Every day when I cite editors, I always connect with them, or try to, and tell them that I feature their show and tell them how I criticize their articles. No, I invite them to see it and to watch, and I also say, you know, this may give you ideas for more articles. Let's see, Cassidy, CEO Sky Cassidy. I guess that's their name, Sky. Interesting name, Sky Cassidy. Explained that postcards are not effective anymore, but you got to do more than that. Well, I get a lot of postcards. I got a couple yesterday for a landscape service. I remember it because it had to touch it, had to deal with it. Why do I want, and I hid it. In fact, I threw it away. You know how I'm not allowed to throw things away? I thought, oh, my wife's going to see this and she's going to want the landscape service. So I pitched it before she could see it. I wonder how many things she's pitched on me before I could see them. The Cabela's catalogs and the Land's End. I bought a crossbow on Sunday. Woohoo! I sold my fancy bow, my fancy Matthews bow, and bought a crossbow. Anyway, so this guy says, this Yahoo article, and I don't blame Sky because they probably said all kinds of good things about testing and direct marketing and how mail gives you the labeled data set so that you can do machine learning unlike any other media. And how direct mail is tangible and the most engaging. We get 100% delivery, 100% engagement. Mail does not throw itself away. I'm sure Sky said all those things because probably they watch my show regularly. But, the article basically says there's this resurgence of direct mail. Everybody's trying direct mail because the months of isolation increased online interaction, and they're sick of it. They want physical mail. And I don't know if any of that's true. I think what's happened is, like everything, there's a cycle to it. You know, the internet bulldozed direct mail back in the 90s, after being like the guy, the go-to guy that people would call from out of the blue, because I knew direct marketing as well or better than anyone alive. All of a sudden, no one cared. It was all about digital. And now everybody's seeing that digital doesn't scale very well. You get a few influencers that do a great job, but after that, it goes downhill fast. And pay-per-click is more expensive than mailing. So anyway, getting a real tangible piece of mail has become something special because everybody's stopped it. And now, now it's fashionable, right? And then the article digresses into, I love this stuff, 42.2% of direct mail recipients either read or scan the mail they receive, as compared to 2019 when only 22.1%. Yeah, if you want to make up numbers, add a digit. And that's all it talks about. It doesn't talk about testing. It doesn't talk about all the great things we just mentioned because, I don't know, people maybe don't watch my show enough. Okay, this was an interesting article by Paula Chiocci, and she's CEO of Outward Media, a leading provider of multi-channel marketing data that drives business growth and success. That's probably what she said. And about her company, that is. And so, ding. And so, it was really starting out well. I was really excited. Two big questions to answer. How much does it cost, and does it actually work? I wish every article tried to answer those, especially the direct mail articles, because they could if they wanted to, if they were done by someone who knew what they were doing. So the first question we have to ask is cost. okay? And in spite of the fact that everybody thinks email is free, I spent a couple hours yesterday trying to pound the WDMA mailing list into MailerLite, and all I wanted was a little suppress file of the people that had already registered and the people that had registered for prior. What I wanted to do was people who had registered for prior webinars, today at 3, down here, go to WDMA.org for the analysis. And I wanted to make sure they didn't get re-emailed. And I wanted to mail the people that had registered before and not mail the people that had opted out and people said, don't email me and all that, unsubscribed. Keep them out. Seems pretty simple. I should be able to upload, a handful of the ones that have already subscribed, but I couldn't figure out how to do a suppress file. I'm going to find it out, but it took me hours. I can do that in direct mail in seconds, right? So while mailing addresses typically don't change very often, email addresses do. So there's legitimate concerns with using low quality email data. Your emails could go straight to junk mail folders, or worse, you could end up on email blacklists. And I've done both. There was a time when I couldn't email Gmail, any Gmail addresses. Don't know why. Never got any complaints. Then I got a complaint one time. I don't know what his problem was. Said I violated the CAN Spam Act. I think almost every email I get violates the CAN Spam Act. You're supposed to have your physical address on it. How many emails do you see that have a physical address on it anywhere? Almost none. That's all violations. I had mine because I know the CAN Spam Act. But nevertheless, you get a couple complaints and Gmail just blacklists you. Oh, wow. Email, you rest your business on email, you're insane. That's what I think. You should always have a couple more channels. So Paula says, well, in B2B, you can get 95% email validity. And of course, that means that it will get delivered to an address that's valid. It doesn't necessarily mean that the person who you emailed is still at that company. And those are usually the bounces. They say they're not here anymore and we shut off their email. But for B2C, accuracy is much lower and there are no guarantees. So you're just basically sending it to the wind. Now, what I'd like to know, is, she goes on to say, most emails don't get a 90% open rate, but direct mail does. I don't believe direct mail does. That's crazy because I know I throw most envelope mail that I recognize as promotional ad mail, I throw in the trash without opening, if I can tell. Some people open all their mail. But what I'd like to know is, I go over to my email. I could put my screen up on here. I go over to my email and I click it, and I click, or sometimes I say open or mark all as read. Is that an open or not? I glanced at it. I didn't click on it. A lot of times I'm not clicking on it and reading the contents. I'm just clicking it to get rid of it because I always tidy up my email folder. And so my question is that count as an open? My guess is that it does, because an open is measured by, a picture that requests a file, and when that file is requested, it says, oh, they opened it. But that certainly is an engagement in my case. I would say 90% of the email that I click, I don't look at. So take whatever you think your email open rate is and multiply it by 0.1. And that's more likely to be real. How many of your emails are read? Man, almost nothing. And it's getting worse and worse and worse. So you better plan for mail. And what we see now is we see the results tracked by Yahoo today. Direct mail is resurging. So this thing kind of descends from here because it basically says that unlike direct mail, you can personalize email. Yeah, I get a lot of personalized email. And because postage is up, you should do email. So I saw where this was going, Paula. And it was nice that Forbes at least mentions direct mail. They mentioned direct marketing, which is kind of a misnomer on this because there is not one mention of any tests. And anybody who uses the term direct marketing and doesn't test, I think, doesn't use it properly. Anyway, so I've been working with the WDMA for 3 years now, posting these interesting videos every day, mainly talking about mail. What was the number one thing I learned? Well, when I started, I made a list of 100 topics that I could talk about if I got up in the morning and didn't have anything to say. And I asked people, how many of those do you think I used? And the answer is none. I don't know where the sheet went. I should dig it up somewhere. I just decided that I would try and come up with 100 before I would start doing it. And I started the Friday before Labor Day in 2019. So I did all the rest of 2019, 2020. Oh no, 2018. Yeah, that's more like it. So 2018, right around, right before Labor Day. So right in the same time window. And I've learned that every day there's enough to talk about in the marketing world if you search properly. I search 21 publications every morning across the world: South Africa, New Zealand, Australia, UK, and many, many, many others. A lot of them don't allow me to get at their articles, but I have ways of getting at them anyway. I've learned that. And I've learned that mail, I've actually been forced to think about mail a lot more than I had before that. I've learned that mail is the most powerful, cutting-edge medium available today. If you want to know what the market thinks of you, mail is the key. Why? Because we have 100% delivery, we have 100% engagement. Think about that. With the decision maker. Think about that. We can personalize it. We can tailor it right to your home. And we're working on a vehicle that's adapted from digital. It's an integration of digital and mail at a level never seen before. I'm working on the patent. And if you're in e-commerce and you have a few products, it's really geared for you. It's geared for that Sonnet James type catalog, where you really want it to reflect the customer's preferences. And it would be great for Amazon, but we're not even going to talk to them because I don't really like Amazon, to be honest about it. And every time I try to order it, it gets messed up. And they don't tell the merchant who the customer is. They've disconnected. They've gotten wedged in the middle, and they aren't leaving. And, I think that's a fundamental destruction of commerce, fundamentally. It's okay. They ship well, and they have a good return policy. Those two things were cornerstones in the direct marketing world when I got involved. So anyway, I've learned a few things, but the biggest point was that mail gives you a picture of people who've engaged and yet chose not to buy. And that is not available in any other media. We don't know who looked at it. You can count your click rate and your open rate, but you don't know if anybody saw it in their brain. Whereas direct mail, they have to engage. A decision maker has to look at it, and it doesn't throw itself away. And once you have that, you have the data set for machine learning, and you can know with a certainty unavailable in all other forms of marketing. So, if you'd like to hear more or learn more, would like to support WDMA.org, I would appreciate it. You have no idea what it means to me. Just get comments and likes. I found out people are giving lots of thumbs ups on LinkedIn, and I don't see the thumbs ups. I only see the comments. So if you're thinking of giving a thumbs up, type a smiley face instead. I'll see that. Or a coffee cup or something. Peggy sends me coffee cups in the morning. I have my coffee, though. So I love the comments. I hope you'll get over there, wdma.org. I do these in a podcast every day, shorten them up a little bit, and so you can get them for your, download them and listen to them in your car. You don't have to waste your business day listening to me. I think we're doing a great job. We're going to even up the ante. Grant Johnson, legendary direct marketer. Oh, except he's a measurable marketer, which you know how I feel about measurable. Yeah, Keith, bring Paul the printer. He should be there just to meet people. And I know he's not into that meet and greet stuff. But anyway, so I want to thank all of you who've ever watched and maybe who will some more. I'm going to keep trying to elevate direct mail and direct marketing. I want you to think about selling to direct marketing, not just selling mail, not just selling printing, selling marketing and selling direct marketing, so that we can teach the world the power of testing. Have a great day. Like and share. Your friends will know you're smart. Get over to wdma.org and join us at 3 o'clock this afternoon. It's going to be a lot of fun. We always have fun. We always laugh and we always learn stuff. Sometimes we learn a lot. It's scary how much fun learning can be.